Ministry of Education.
Matters to be raised with the permission of the Chair, Sri Ahmad Ashfaq Karim. Please.
Respected Chairman Sir, चैरिटेबल शैक्षणिक संस्थान को जीएसटी से मुक्त करने के संबंध में चैरिटेबल शैक्षणिक संस्थान जो इनकम टैक्स से मुक्त है लेकिन जीएसटी से मुक्त नहीं है, फलतः ऐसी शिक्षण संस्थानों में भवन निर्माण तथा आवश्यकतानुसार इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर जीएसटी का बोझ पड़ता है तथा आवश्यकतानुसार इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पर भी जीएसटी का बोझ पड़ता है, जबकि इन संस्थानों को इनपुट टैक्स क्रेडिट भी नहीं मिलता है। इसका फायदा चैरिटेबल शिक्षण संस्थान को नहीं मिलकर सीधे बिल्डर और शैक्षणिक संस्थान के सामग्री सप्लायर को इसका लाभ मिल जाता है। इस तरह के शैक्षणिक संस्थानों को इनकम टैक्स की तरह जीएसटी से भी मुक्त कराया जाए, ये एक सराहनीय कदम होगा। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद अहमद अशफाक जी। डॉक्टर बंदा प्रकाश।
Respected Chairman, sir, I wish to bring your kind notice and notice of the Honorable Minister of Education and Social Empowerment on the issue of reservations, effective implementation of reservations on higher learning institutions, sir. Particularly in IIM, sir, the reservations are not implemented properly. Over 60% of the posts reserved for OBC, SC, that is vacant in IIM, sir. In 80% of the posts reserved for STs, that is vacant. Out of 24 positions reserved for STs, only 5 have been filled, sir. Sir, 6,074 positions in the 42 universities, out of which 75% posts reserved for reserved category, that is vacant now. Still, now they are unfilling that position, sir. The IIM Lucknow, they have called for the applications for the reserved post. For 197 applications they have received. Out of that, they have shortlisted only 7. But nobody is appointed for that job, sir. Sir, apart from that, even IITs also, even in Lucknow, Bombay, and other IITs also, Delhi, Madras, Kharagpur, these are the old IITs, old institutions there where reservations are not properly implemented. Sir, I request in the name of only they are having a statutory acts, they are not implementing the proper reservation. UGC also requested all the universities within the 6 months fill the post with government guidelines. But they are violating, number of times they are violating that position, sir. Sir, I wish to bring it to your kind notice. Recently, when Supreme Court, 2 judges were there, that women judges are there. One is resigned, only one is left. Sir, even in all the state governments, they are implementing the reservation policy, even appointment of the judges in the lower level. But at High Court and Supreme Court, they are not maintaining. This is the responsibility of the Government of India to give the direction to the respective high courts to appoint the judges from the other categories also. Even at the Supreme Court level also they have to offer. At the end, I request that, sir, I request through you to appoint a task force for monitoring the reservation policies in the country, sir. I request that parliamentary standing committees on SC, STs and OBC should monitor all these institutions once in 3 months, sir. I request government to give the special direction for the issue, sir.
Right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Associate, please send the slip. Sri Kumar Ketkar. Kumar Ketkar.
Thank you, Chairman, sir, for giving me opportunity to raise a very serious issue which is intriguing the whole nation, but particularly the state of Maharashtra, because of 2 very mysterious deaths. The cases of both or 2 suspicious deaths, independent of each other, but involve local investigating agencies as well as national investigating agency. However, the death of parliamentarian Mohan Delkar, a sitting member of the parliament, in Diu Daman, with close association of the ruling party in Gujarat, hanged
please.
himself in a
Ketkarji,
posh hotel in South
Ketkarji,
Mumbai.
this is zero over. Only issue you have to mention.
Yeah.
Don't make allegation against
Okay.
the state
No,
or the
this is,
center.
no, this is what is published.
Sitting member of the Lok Sabha.
Yeah.
Lok Sabha is there.
He committed suicide in a posh hotel in South Mumbai. He was 7-time MP. But somehow, neither NIA nor media have taken interest in his relatives, and his relatives say that he chose Mumbai to commit suicide because he did not trust the other agencies in the state or in Diu Daman. The second case of death cum suicide or murder is that of Mansukh Hiren, which is dominating the headlines all over the country because the gelatin that was supposed to be found in a car opposite a leading industrialist house. Now, what is not being investigated and what I want to know from the Home Ministry or whoever is that why the manufacturer or the distributor or the supplier of those gelatins has not been properly interrogated so far. It is believed that that person, Mr. Noal, has donated rupees 15 crores to the Ram Mandir via VHP in Nagpur. And therefore, many people believe that there is a Nagpur connection.
Making charges. Ketkarji,
No,
please.
I am saying
You are
this is
senior.
published.
No, I have to remove it from the record. The point is, it's believed.
Okay,
It is said.
my only,
How can you?
okay, my only demand is,
No.
my only demand is
Importance
to
of
have,
the issue.
okay, my only demand is to have full investigation. My only demand is to have full investigation into who supplied the gelatins for what purpose and what was the background of the man who supplied the gelatins.
So, then here afterwards, I have to go through the press.
And therefore, it
I have
is
to go
necessary to
through
find
the
out which
entire notice
agencies
and then
are-
decide. If people move from this here to there and then there to
No,
other
but
places and all.
just want to know which agencies are working for whom and for whose benefit.
Your
political
notice
or
is
otherwise.
concerned over crimes in Maharashtra.
Yeah,
Don't make
but this is a
allegations
crime in
against even
Maharashtra.
agencies also. Nothing has happened
But
so
this
far.
is a crime in Maharashtra which is not properly being investigated.
Please, you say this should be
One
investigated
suicide
further.
of an MP,
Please,
one
please.
suicide.
Right. Sri K.C. Ramamurthy, K.C. Ramamurthy.
Respected sir, thank you very much for permitting me to raise this very important issue of national importance. Sir, successive governments have been trying to bring down load on the Supreme Court and other courts, and there are also views, suggestions and recommendations that the Supreme Court at Delhi can concentrate on constitutional matters while appellate benches, 4, one in north, south, east and west, can focus on appeals emanating from the High Court. So I feel the time has come now that the Supreme Court and the Government of India take a positive view on this and see that the pressure on the highest court is reduced, sir. Sir, we have seen benches established by various high courts have been functioning very effectively and are highly beneficial to the litigants. Sir, it is not just for easing the pressure on the court, sir. The litigants are not able to come and relinquishing the idea of going to Supreme Court due to distance and the cost. It is a high time that we give a serious thought to it, sir. So when it comes to the thought of establishing Supreme Courts in the 4 regions, I feel as far as South is concerned, Bangalore is the best, sir, considering the climatic conditions, the connectivity, the infrastructure, the readily available judicial accommodations, and all these things. I request the Government of India and our dynamic law minister to take up this issue with Supreme Court of India for setting up a Supreme Court bench at Bengaluru where all the facilities are available. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Sri Kanakamada Ravindra Kumar,
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్
Telugu.
సార్ కృష్ణా జిల్లా పామర్ మండలం నిమ్మకూరు గ్రామంలో సామాన్య రైతు కుటుంబంలో జన్మించిన నందమూరి తారక రామారావు సినీ రంగ ప్రవేశం చేసి 300కు పైగా సినిమాల్లో నటించి విశ్వవిఖ్యాత నటుడిగా చెంది తెలుగు చిత్రరంగానికి మకుటం లేని మహారాజుగా ఉండి షష్ఠిపూర్తి సందర్భంగా ప్రజలకే జీవితం అంకితం చేయడానికి 67 రాజకీయ రంగ ప్రవేశం చేసి తెలుగువారికి జీవం పోసి తెలుగు జాతి ఆత్మగౌరవ పరిరక్షణ యోధుడు, బడుగు బలహీన వర్గాల ప్రియ బాంధవుడు, పేదల సంక్షేమానికి పరితపించిన నిర్విరామ శ్రమకుడు, అన్నదాతల బతుకుల్లో వెలుగు నింపిన కర్షక వీరుడు, పీడితులనే పాలకులుగా మార్చిన ధీరోదాత్తుడు, అసమాన కీర్తి ప్రతిష్టను సొంతము చేసుకున్న అమరుడు ఎన్టీ రామారావు గారి పార్టీ స్వర్గీయ ఎన్టీ రామారావు తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ స్థాపించి 9 నెలల్లో రాష్ట్రమంతటా సుడిగాలిలా పర్యటించి పేదలు, రైతులు, మహిళలు, చేతివృత్తుల వారి, బడుగు బలహీన వర్గాలను ప్రజల దీనస్థితిని కళ్ళారా చూసి హృదయము ద్రవించి మనసు చలించి అధికార పీఠం అధోహరించిన వెంటనే వారి అభ్యున్నతకై అన్నమాట నిలబెట్టుకున్న ధీరోదాత్తుడు ఎన్టీఆర్ కుట్రలు కుతంత్రాలు ఎరగిన నిష్కర్షి సమాజమే దేవాలయము, ప్రజలే దేవుళ్ళు అని నినదించిన వారి అభ్యున్నతి కోసం తుది వరకు పోడిన కృషివలుడు. ప్రజా సంక్షేమం కోసం పనిచేసి అనేక సంక్షేమ పథకాలు ప్రతిపాదించి ప్రతి కుటుంబానికి ₹2కే కిలో బియ్యం, జనతా వస్త్రాలు, ₹50కే పవర్ హౌస్లు ఇట్లాంటివన్నీ ప్రవేశపెట్టి తర్వాత తెలుగుదేశం పట్ల అభిమానులు చూరుకొని ఆనాడు తెలంగాణలో ఉన్న పట్టేల్ పట్వారీ వ్యవస్థను రద్దు చేసి పరిపాలన వికేంద్రీకరించి మాండలిక వ్యవస్థ నిర్మాణించి మహిళలు, వెనుకబడిన వర్గాలకు ప్రజల రాజకీయ సాధికారం కోసం రిజర్వేషన్ బిల్లును ప్రవేశపెట్టడం ఆయన ముందు చూపుకు తార్కాణం. బడుగుల అభ్యున్నతి ధ్యేయంగా కార్మికుల సంక్షేమంగా ఆర్థిక, సామాజిక, రాజకీయ, విద్యా, ఉపాధి రంగాల్లో ఎన్నో అవకాశాలను కల్పించిన సామాజిక సంస్కర్త ఎన్టీఆర్. ఆడపడుచులకు సమాన ఆస్తి మొట్టమొదటగా కల్పించి విద్యాభ్యున్నతికి స్వయంగా మహిళా విశ్వవిద్యాలయాన్ని స్థాపించిన మహిళా ప్రగతికి బాటలేసిన స్ఫూర్తిదాత. తెలుగు భాష సంస్కృతికి, వైభవ పునరుద్ధరణకి తెలుగు విశ్వవిద్యాలయాన్ని స్థాపించి తెలుగువారి చరిత్రను ప్రపంచం నలుమూలలా చాటినటువంటి వ్యక్తి ఎన్టీఆర్. ఇలాంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఎన్టీఆర్ ప్రజాస్వామ్య స్థానిక సంస్థల ప్రత్యక్ష ఎన్నికలు నిర్వహించినటువంటి ఎన్టీఆర్ అవినీతి పరులకు ఎన్టీఆర్ సింహ స్వప్నంగా ఉండి తెలుగు జాతికి నిజాయితీకి నిలువెత్తు సాక్ష్యంగా ఆయన కర్తవ్య దీక్షకు అంకితము చేసిన అనితర సాధ్యమైనటువంటి ఎన్టీఆర్ మార్గాన్ని ఎంచుకొని తెలుగుదేశం పార్టీ ఆయన ఆశయాల్లో నడుస్తున్నందుకు ఆయనకు ఎన్టీఆర్ పేదల సంక్షేమం, బడుగు వర్గాల రాజ్యాధికారం కోసం జీవితాన్ని అంకితం చేసి దేశ రాజకీయాలకు దిక్సూచిగా నిలిచిన యుగ పురుషుడు నందమూరి తారక రామారావు గారికి భారతరత్న ఇచ్చి గౌరవించడం తెలుగు ప్రజలకే కాదు భారత పౌరులందరికీ గర్వకారణం. ఈ మహానాయుడికి భారతరత్న పురస్కారం ప్రదానం చేయాలని మరొకసారి భారత ప్రభుత్వానికి విజ్ఞప్తి చేస్తున్నాను. థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
He is making a request to confer Bharat Ratna on late N.T. Ramarao. He was explaining all his qualities. Sri P. Wilson, to make out a case, he was explaining. Sri P. Wilson.
Thank you, Honorable Chairman, sir. I raised today to bring kind attention of this August House that the central government is making inroads into the state power to make reservation and is thus circumventing the state legislature's domain. Such an attempt is an assault on the federal structure guaranteed in the Constitution. In Tamil Nadu, we have 69% reservation in educational institutions by virtue of 1993 Act and is preserved in 9th Schedule. Anna University, which is a state university, is bound by state reservation. In the land of Periyar and in the bastion of Peraranger Anna, a social injustice is now done to our students by the central government. The Anna University offers M.Tech Biotechnology course since 1985, and the course is wholly sponsored by the Department of Biotechnology, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. All along, in admission in this course, Anna University was granting 69% reservation. Suddenly, the central government for the academic year 2020 onwards is insisting to follow 27% reservation in the said course offered in the Anna University to avail the said course and the grant. Sir, the Central Reservation Act 2006 does not apply to the state universities. Sir, despite orders of the Madras High Court and Supreme Court in the DMK case to grant reservation in the state contributed seat to All India quota, the central government is refusing to implement reservations. Now an attempt is made to unsettle 3 decades old law on reservation, which has served as a foundation to uplift socially backward section, is striking fear and causing abundant mental stress to the members of the backward class and scheduled caste and scheduled tribe. It is quite unfortunate that the settled legal and constitutional issues are now sought to be reopened by the central government under the untenable premises that the state have no power to legislate after the 102nd constitutional amendment. Sir, what is a message is the central government trying to convey to the states? That they have no more legislative competence qua reservations? Is India now a unitary country? Is a federal structure no longer the basic feature of the Constitution? How can the central government denude the state legislative power preserved under the Constitution by misinterpretation of Article 102? Sir,
time has come where all of us has to unite under one platform to protect the majority people in India.
What is your demand? What is
Yes.
your suggestion?
Yes, sir, the settled constitutional Lakshman Rekha between union and state must be preserved at all costs. The struggle to obtain reservation in this country as part of our constitutional setup was through a massive struggle. Many gave their lives, sweat and blood to get these reservations in education and employment, and this must not be disturbed by the central government. I request the Honorable Law Minister and Minister of Social Justice, who always support the issue relating to reservation, through this August House, to not to circumscribe the power of the state to give reservation through any institution, as doing so gravely upset the delicate balance
Right.
so beautifully settled by our Constitution. Thank you, Chairman, sir.
Thank you, Wilson. Thank you. Associate, please send the slip. Sri Jyotiraditya Scindia.
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय। आपके जरिए सभापति महोदय एक बहुत ही भावुक और अति महत्वपूर्ण विषय इस सदन में मैं उठाना चाहता हूं। 2019-20 में किए गए राष्ट्र परिवार स्वास्थ्य प्रशिक्षण और सर्वेक्षण की जो रिपोर्ट के पहले हिस्से में 22 राज्यों को लिए गए थे। उस रिपोर्ट के मुताबिक 22 राज्यों में से 13 राज्यों में स्टंटिंग और अंडरवेट बच्चों की संख्या में पिछले सर्वेक्षण की तुलना में बहुत बढ़ोतरी हुई है। तेलंगाना, महाराष्ट्र, पश्चिम बंगाल जैसे राज्यों में भी कुपोषण का दर 2015 की तुलना में बहुत बढ़ोतरी हो चुकी है। 2015-16 की ICDS रिपोर्ट, इंटीग्रेटेड चाइल्ड डेवलपमेंट स्कीम की रिपोर्ट को हम देखें तो 6 साल के बच्चे और उनसे कम उम्र के बच्चों में 2 करोड़ बच्चे कुपोषित पाए गए हैं, जो देश के 40% बच्चों की संख्या है। वहीं दूसरी तरफ 15 से 39 वर्ष तक की आयु की वर्ग की हमारी महिलाएं, हमारी मातृशक्ति, जहां पिछले सर्वे में 49% महिलाएं अनीमिक पाई गई थीं, इस बार 57% महिलाएं अनीमिक पाई गई हैं। और विश्व बैंक के ग्लोबल पोषण रिपोर्ट 2018 के अनुसार भी भारत में कुपोषण में होने वाली बीमारी और मानव संसाधन के नुकसान का सालाना $10 बिलियन का आंकड़ा रखा गया है। ये आंकड़े सभापति महोदय एक बहुत अत्यंत गंभीर स्थिति को बयान करती हैं। और जहां एक तरफ जहां हमारा पोषण अभियान योजना के 1000 दिन पूरे हो जा रहे हैं, जो ये आंकड़े परिणाम दिखा रहे हैं, इसके आधार पर अगर इस कुपोषण का हमें निवारण करना है तो एक नई सोच की ज़रूरत है। मैं 3 सुझाव आपके द्वारा सरकार के समक्ष पेश करना चाहता हूं। पहली तो ये कुपोषण एक बीमारी नहीं है, एक सामाजिक समस्या है जिसका हमें समाधान निकालना होगा। ये सोच में प्रवृत्ति हमें लानी होगी। इसी के साथ कई मंत्रालय संबंधित योजनाओं को लेकर अलग अलग तरीके से कार्य करते हैं, इसे हमें केंद्रित करना होगा। और मैं मानता हूं कि एक कुपोषण उन्मूलन मिशन का निर्माण की ज़रूरत है, जहां महिला बाल विकास, ग्रामीण विकास, जल संसाधन विकास, आयुष मंत्रालय, जल शक्ति मंत्रालय साथ में कार्य कर पाए। मेरा दूसरा सुझाव है कि जिलों के स्तर पर हमें टारगेटेड काम करना चाहिए और बॉटम अप अप्रोच के आधार पर इसका हमें समापन करना होगा। और आखिरी सुझाव मेरा सभापति महोदय कि केंद्र में एक स्वतंत्र कुपोषण उन्मूलन प्राधिकरण का हमें स्थापना करना होगा, ताकि इस कुपोषण को मिटाने के लिए मिशन मोड के तहत पर जमीनी स्तर पर हम लोग कार्य कर पाएं। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद ज्योतिरादित्य जी। श्री आनंद शर्मा।
Thank you. Honorable Chairman, sir, through you I wish to draw the attention of this August House to a serious situation regarding the education of the children across the country, right from primary schools to the higher schools, higher education. Because of the pandemic, COVID-19, and the lockdown, the educational institutions and schools, colleges across the country have remained shut for a long time. The students were advised to attend virtual classes, but considering the low tele-density in India, in rural areas, which is barely 59%, and the social and economic disparities, the students from poor families, weaker sections of the society, don't have access to smartphones or iPads or tablets. As a result, they have been deprived of education. There have been emotional issues, psychological issues, and mental distress. As a result, a large number of students across the country have committed suicide. This needs urgent intervention from the government. The government should set apart some fund and in consultation with the states ensure, A, that virtual classes are there in the nearest community centers where students don't have access to smartphones, also Wi-Fi connectivity, and in addition to that, sir, there should be counseling centers set up. It's not only students losing 1 year of education, is the larger fallout, both social and economic, on the country. And this is an issue which has, now it is 1 year, sir, complete 1 year after the lockdown started. Therefore, high time, alarmed by the new surge of the second wave, which is coming, and many states are affected, many cities are going in for lockdown, students will continue to be in a state of mental stress. So I urge the government to call a meeting of all the state education ministers and find ways to help these children. Thank you.
Very good. Good issue. The government need to pay attention towards this issue. Lieutenant General D.P. Vats, आपको 2 मिनट है, 2 मिनट में पूरा करिए जनरल साहब.
माननीय सभापति जी, it is a matter of grave concern that Delhi has been labelled the most polluted capital of the world for the 3rd consecutive year, and the NCR is no way behind. Out of 30 most polluted cities, 22 are in NCR region, and most of them in Haryana and Western UP. Last year there was a marginal improvement due to COVID lockdown, but in totality, efforts have gone in smoke. I, through you, request the concerned agencies to take non-populist measures or drastic measures to reduce the pollution, to save the health of the NCR region, because there are 54,000 premature deaths in Delhi because of air pollution. Thank you.
Thank you. Priyanka Chaturvedi to associate. And 1
Thank
minute.
you, Honourable Chairman.
You
Yes,
have 1 minute time.
Yes, sir, 1 minute. Sir, air pollution constitutes the world's biggest environmental health hazard, contributing to as many as 7 million premature deaths globally per year, more than 3 times higher than deaths associated with COVID-19. In 2020, the spread of COVID-19 raised new concerns as exposure to particle pollution was found to increase vulnerability to the virus. And early reports suggest that the proportion of COVID-19 deaths attributed to air pollution exposure ranging from 7% to 33%. It is a matter of serious concern that Delhi is, again, after for past 3 years, has been nominated as the most polluted capital city of the world. 22 of our cities out of 30 most polluted cities in the world are in the country. Sir, it is extremely concerning that while we should be discussing this, we end up discussing about women wearing ripped jeans and women also being gair sanskari.
Come to this.
Sir, also another point here is an honourable minister, environment minister, should be speaking about this issue rather than mocking our concerns about making vaccines available for all. Thank you so much, sir.
Good. Sri G.C. Chandrasekhar.
Sir, thank you for opportunity to speak and find a peaceful solution to border dispute between Karnataka and Maharashtra, sir. Sir, ಯಾವುದೇ ವಿವಾದ ಸಂಘರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಬಗೆಹರಿಯುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರ ಅಹಿಂಸಾ ಸಂದೇಶ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾನವೀಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಮೆರೆದಿದೆ. ಸರ್, ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ I would like to start with a poem of ಜ್ಞಾನಪೀಠ awardee and great author D.V. ಗುಂಡಪ್ಪ. ಜಾನಪದಗಳು, ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸಾಮ್ರಾಜ್ಯಗಳು, ಗುರು ಸಂಸ್ಥಾನಗಳು, ಭಾಷೆಗಳು, ಧರ್ಮಗಳು, ವಿದ್ಯೆಗಳು ಕಾಣಿಸದೆ ಸಾಗಿಯೋ ಕಾಲ ಪ್ರವಾಹದಲ್ಲಿ ಬದುಕುವುದು ಮಾನವೀಯತೆ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. Sir, it means nothing is permanent in this world. The folk culture, the great emperors, the empires, gurukulas, religions, languages, learnings will vanish over time, but humanity is forever, sir. ಸರ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ ನೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಸರ್ 1956ರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡ ಭಾಷಾವಾರು ಪ್ರಾಂತ ವಿಂಗಡಣೆ ಆದಾಗಲಿಂದಲೂ ಬೆಳಗಾವಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಅವಿಭಾಜ್ಯ ಅಂಗ ಆದರೂ ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರದ ತಕರಾರಿನಿಂದ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ನ ನ್ಯಾಯಮೂರ್ತಿಯಾಗಿದ್ದಂಥ ಮಹಾಜನ್ ವರದಿ ಕೂಡ ಬೆಳಗಾವಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇರಿದ್ದೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಆರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ 263 ಮತ್ತು 331ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಗಡಿ ವಿವಾದ ಪರಸ್ಪರ ಮಾತುಕತೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಗೆಹರಿಯದಿದ್ದರೆ ಸುಪ್ರೀಂ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರವೇಶಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ತಿಳಿಸಿದ್ದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಸರ್ ಕೇವಲ ರಾಜಕೀಯ ಲಾಭಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಸಂಘರ್ಷ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು ತಮ್ಮ ನವೆಂಬರ್ 1ನೇ ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನದ ದಿನವನ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ದಿನವನ್ನು ಶುಭಾಶಯವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವ ಬದಲು ಅಂದೇ ಕರಾಳ ದಿನ ಎಂದು ಆಚರಿಸಬೇಕೆಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಬಿನೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತೀರ್ಮಾನಿಸಿರುವುದು ಬೆಳಗಾವಿಯನ್ನು ಕೇಂದ್ರಾಡಳಿತ ಪ್ರದೇಶ ಎಂದು ಮಾಡಿ ಎಂದು ಹೇಳುವುದು ಮತ್ತು ಸೀಮಾ ಸಂಕಲ್ಪ ಎಂಬ ಹೆಸರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಳಗಾವಿಯನ್ನು ವಶಪಡಿಸಿಕೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೇವೆ ಎಂದು ಪ್ರಚೋದನಕಾರಿ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ನೀಡುತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಸರ್ ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನದ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಹತ್ತಿ ಉರಿಯುತ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್. ನಾವು ಸ್ವಾಭಿಮಾನದಿಂದ ಗಾಂಧಿ ಮಾರ್ಗದಲ್ಲೇ ಪ್ರತಿಭಟಿಸಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಗಡಿಭಾಗ್ಯವನ್ನು ಸಂರಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ ಹೊರತು ಒಂದಿಂಚು ಜಾಗವನ್ನು ಬಿಡುವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಸಿನ್ಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಲಿವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಫೆಡರಲ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, I request the central government to advise Maharashtra government not to give provoking statement since this matter is in the Supreme Court. Sir, Belagavi was and is and always be part of Karnataka, sir. Thank you very much.
Right. This matter is pending before the Supreme Court. Nobody should give provocative statements. This or that, this state or that state, this party or that state. We are not doing any justice to the country. This has been pending since long. So let us wait for the judicial verdict and then respect it in whatever. Please. अब बैठ जाइए प्लीज. आप यहाँ हमारा रूल्स में जो है उसको ये करना प्लीज. नहीं ये कोई नहीं बोलना चाहिए, मंत्री भी नहीं बोलना चाहिए. श्री टी.जी. Venkatesh.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I belongs to Rayalaseema region, most backward region, entire country, and also our state. Our region consisting of 4 districts, almost all the districts drought affected districts declaring from the day one of the independence. So I want to appeal you, sir, some special grants has to be provided to this Rayalaseema region. Earlier special status, some grants used to give every district 50 crores. That has to be revived, sir, for that one. Earlier, before 1953, our region was in Tamil Nadu. Bifurcation, before bifurcation, all investments of our region people have been invested in Tamil Nadu. After bifurcation, Kurnool became the capital. Just before developing 53, 56, again shifted to the Telangana amalgamated in Andhra Pradesh. Again, investment made all our people in capital Hyderabad. Again, bifurcation has been taken place. Again, Vijayawada it has been shifted. Vijayawada started investing our people because our people, capital means they love and they invest. And Amravati invested. Now the proposal is there to shift it to Vizag also. So at least secretariat should be with us, or second capital, say winter capital, call it summer capital like Nagpur, should be there here, sir, in Rayalaseema region. Otherwise, all leaders are playing like a football our region, sir. So one more thing, sir, our leadership is very strong in our region. 4 districts, every district represented chief ministers, earlier and present, before amalgamation, after amalgamation. Everybody, strong leaders, and our 4 districts, 2 districts, one from Anantapuram district, President of India elected, another district, Prime Minister elected. So politically we are strong, sir. And rich mines are there. Very rich mines are there. Gold mines are there. Diamond mines are there. When rainy season, the diamonds will be visible, and big traders from other states, they will come and buy from the agriculturalist small investment. So like that, the diamond projects to be created, gold projects to be, gold excavation has to be done, and iron ore is there, steel plant has to be put it, railway repair plant has been created, but money has not been given to that one, so the project has not completed. DRDO projects have been announced, still not yet commissioned. And like that, sir, Greyhounds announced, still not yet come. Like,
Thank you. Time is over, Venkatesh ji. Rajamani Patel. It will not go on record, even if I sympathize with you. But
माननीय सभापति जी,
राजामणि जी,
ओबीसी के छात्र छात्राओं के लिए प्री मैट्रिक आवासीय छात्रावास खोलने के संबंध में सदन का ध्यान आकर्षित करना चाहता हूं। पूरे देश तथा मध्य प्रदेश में पिछड़े वर्ग की आबादी 52% से अधिक है, जो शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में काफी पिछड़ा हुआ है। खेद के साथ कहना पड़ रहा है कि पिछड़े वर्ग के छात्र छात्राओं के लिए एक भी आवासीय प्री मैट्रिक छात्रावास संचालित नहीं है। मध्य प्रदेश के रीवा, सतना, सीधी, शहडोल, सिंगरौली आदि में संभागीय स्तर पर भी कोई ऐसा छात्रावास नहीं है। पोस्ट मैट्रिक आवासीय छात्रावास जो खुले हैं, उनकी संख्या भी आबादी एवं छात्र संख्या को देखते हुए नगण्य है। जो भी है, उनकी हालत इतनी जर्जर है कि रहने लायक नहीं है। पानी, शौचालय आदि तक की व्यवस्था नहीं है। पिछड़े वर्ग की आर्थिक स्थिति दयनीय होने के कारण उनके बच्चे गुणवत्तापूर्ण शिक्षा ग्रहण करने में असमर्थ हैं, जिससे शैक्षणिक स्तर दिनों दिन गिरता जा रहा है। मैं अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं कि पिछड़े वर्ग के छात्र छात्राओं के लिए प्री मैट्रिक आवासीय छात्रावास संचालित किए जाएं तथा पोस्ट मैट्रिक छात्रावासों की संख्या बढ़ाई जाए तथा बिजली, पानी एवं शौचालय, बाथरूम की तत्काल व्यवस्था की जाए, ताकि पिछड़े वर्ग के छात्र छात्राओं को समान अवसर का लाभ मिल सके और वे भी राष्ट्र की मुख्य धारा में जुड़ सकें।
धन्यवाद जी। स्पेशल मेंशन डॉक्टर अमी याज्ञिक।